Hello, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I help you find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Happy to be back on another live stream. It had a little hiatus, went to Hawaii with my family, actually just got back yesterday, the day before. So we went to Kona, and it was an amazing vacation. I took my sister and my niece and our family. My sister had her 40th birthday, so it was kind of a little, surprise slash, just a really cool thing to be able to, she lives in the Midwest, so we don't get to see each other very often. So it was a really special thing for us to be able to hang out and, our kids to be able to play together and everything as well. So it was a lot of fun. Ate a lot of shave ice, ate a lot of poke. D and Fam says that tan though. Do I actually look tan? I don't know. Like seriously, I did get some sun for sure. We had a pool at the Airbnb. It was legit. Hey, what's up, Architectural Sheet Metal 101? Thanks for tuning in. We are live on a bunch of different places as well as TikTok. What's going on? Let me pull up my IG chat because I'm live there as well. We are back at it today. We've got Rhea, what's going on? We've got Thrifty and Thriving Lists and a bunch of others on the IG chat. So thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit controversial, potentially, which is why trash talking brands is a terrible idea. Have you ever seen this happen, right? Whether it's on Twitter or whether it's on TikTok or, people being like, oh, how dare this brand say this to me, going off on them. These videos get lots and lots of views, right? Because it's like everyone wants to sip the piping hot tea, right? But here I am injecting a little bit of cold, throwing a little bit of cold water on this trend that's going on right now of trash talking brands on social media and why that's a terrible idea. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Again, if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. We are going to be doing, of course, a Q&A at the end, which is my favorite part. So if you have any questions, drop it in the chat wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or LinkedIn, even Twitter, wherever. Please let me know. Okay, so we got Paul tuning in from YouTube as well. What's up? We got Cal. We got Drea's Curious Cuisine, fourth born child. Awesome. Well, thank you. I am going to real quickly mute some people because they're being crazy in TikTok. So thanks for bearing with me. All right. So let's dive into it. Again, why you shouldn't trash talk brands. Okay. So here's the deal. One reason why you shouldn't trash talk brands is that it makes you look unprofessional to future brand partners. There have been times through my agency where we actually opted not to work with certain influencers because when we were reviewing their social platforms, trying to decide whether we should recommend them to our client, who was the brand, we saw them airing their grievances about some other brand on, let's say, Twitter. Now, why on earth would we want to risk our reputation as an agency recommending a creator to our client who seems like they're going to run to TikTok every time a bump in the road happens during a partnership, right? Because this happens, right? Things come up that you don't anticipate, that you don't expect. I can't tell you how many times, you try to have every single thing in the contract that you possibly can. But, sometimes, again, thinking about it from an agency's perspective, not the brand's perspective, right? We are the liaison. Our goal is to, help make this campaign as seamless as possible for our client. And we work with lots of brands, by the way. So if we, if there are creators that are, super difficult to work with, you can better believe that we're not going to recommend them for future partnerships for other clients that have hired our agency in the past. Right. So, the number one reason is about professionalism. You are a professional creator, especially if working with brands and getting sponsorships is a large way in which you make income, derive income from your creator business. Okay. Yeah, Architectural Sheet Metal said, I trash talked another YouTuber at the beginning of my journey, and I regret it because I now know the grind and massively respect. Hopefully he didn't see the comment. Yeah, I mean, it's been, it can be tough, and it's big of you to kind of own up to that now, and, hopefully not, but, it's easy to kind of underestimate what it takes to actually be a creator in the beginning. Another reason why you shouldn't trash talk brands is that miscommunications happen during sponsorships. It actually reminds me of people who are in toxic romantic relationships where instead of talking it out with their partner, they immediately run to their friends or other family members and they say, "Can you believe so and so said this to me? I'm so mad. What should I do?" Now, it's one thing to seek private counsel from your other creator friends about tricky situations with brands, but airing that publicly should not be your first move, right? Instead, you need to calmly and objectively clarify with the brand what your expectations or, your assumptions were about the scope of the campaign or the creative direction, and allow them the opportunity to explain their perspective to see if you can find some sort of compromise, right? Because, again, coming back to this whole thing about how miscommunications happen and there is, your job in this kind of business transaction that you've entered into with this brand is to figure out a way to get through it. Because remember, this is not going to be the only deal that you ever do with this brand, hopefully, right? So they're looking and watching very closely how you behave in this very first deal to determine whether they want to hire you again or not in the future. I talk about this in extreme detail in week 3 of my course. It's all about this is the actual execution of the campaign. When the brand is actually sending you their feedback and you're, determining how responsive you are or determining how easy you are to work with. This is the moment when the brand decides whether they want to hire you again or not. DN Fam says, gentle yell coming in hot. I need to hashtag gentle yell, right? I got to make that up. Dr. Crypto says, hey, Justin, my wife recommended me to you. So great to connect. Janet says, yeah, I've bit my tongue many times because I don't ever want another better opportunity to see that I'm not professional. Exactly, Janet. Right? Man, we got the crazies coming out on TikTok today. Apologies, y'all. Okay. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I'm muting people. Okay. So another reason why you shouldn't trash talk brands is that it's very possible that you were in the wrong. Early on in my creator journey, I had situations where a brand came back with very significant edit or reshoot requests. And of course, my natural reaction was to be mad. This is totally unreasonable, right? But then once I actually went back to the contract that I signed, by the way, and read it in more detail, I realized that the brand was actually totally within their rights to ask for those changes. So it can be a pretty humbling thing, right? Especially when you're starting out. But the mature thing to do is to just take the L and treat it as a lesson for the next deal you do, right? To be more diligent when it comes to reviewing your contracts. Let me know in the chat if has that ever happened to you, right? Where, the brand came back with, you signed the deal, you were super excited. Maybe you didn't read it in super, a lot of detail. And then they came back to you with some, feedback requests or reshoot requests or something like that. And then you'd be like, oh, how dare they? They can't do that. And then you go back and read the contract and you're like, oh yeah, I guess they can. Right? I hope you took that as a learning lesson for the next partnership that you did. Does that ever happen? You have to be learning from this stuff. Bryce Pratik, the Brim Factor, Daniel Patrick Norton, the Del Weiss House, Here Hair. Thanks for tuning in on IG. Joran says, what is happening? I'm not sure. I am just talking about how you shouldn't drag brands on social media. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Janet says, yeah, I had to refilm a full YouTube video. Minor oversight on my part, but understable. Yeah, I mean, Andy says, I started off with no contracts and then the brand wanting so much stuff after the original video was complete. Contracts are an absolute must. I learned my lesson quick after that, right? Quick. Jose in the TikTok chat said, what's up, brother? Keep dropping gems. Just landed another big deal. Boom. So proud of you. Congratulations. What brand is it? Can you let us know? Proud of you, man. That's awesome. All right. I got some more stuff for you here, okay? Because I'm passionate about this topic. So another reason why you shouldn't trash talk brands is that you might think that you're exposing the predatory ones. And that's fine if you want your creator brand to be a truth crusader, right? But in reality, if you also want to get sponsorships, even the legitimate brands won't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole because it just won't be worth it to them. I'll be the first one to admit that, of course, there are definitely shady brands out there, but you have to make a personal decision. What's more important to you? Do you want to gain clout and views by calling out a few crappy brands? Or do you want to make a bunch of money because you're mature enough to curate a polished social persona? This one might not be super popular, but it's the truth, right? Like I see, this is what oftentimes happens, where a creator will drag a brand on social media. I get tagged all the time. You probably don't know this, but I haven't talked about this, but I get tagged constantly on social media, on TikTok, where, some, person is talking about, oh, this shady brand did this, and it has like 500,000 views, right? And someone tags me, Justin, what do you think about this? They like tag me into the comments or whatever. So I see this happening all the time, right? And what ends up happening is that creator sees, oh my gosh, I just got 500,000 views. They get all excited and they get the high of like, oh, getting the traction on social media. And then they keep doing it, right? They say, oh, I want to feed the beast. I want to keep getting these views. So I'm going to keep dragging the brand. I'm going to keep talking about it. Oh, part 3, part 4, part 5 of this saga with the brand or whatever. It's a slippery slope. It's not worth it. Believe me. Do you want your whole brand to be known for this negative, toxic thing? Trash talking, is that the brand you want? The brand, your creator brand? Because believe me, other actual brands are not going to want to partner with you if that's your whole thing. Right? Jose said, Chevy, boom, got a brand deal with Chevy. Congratulations, man. That is huge. Proud of you. We got Hella Base. We've got Hushy. D and Fam says creators are brands. We've got the culture of cookery. Gary Underpants. Joyce's Treasures. Gabby in the IG chat. Harp Project. We got Jamie and TikTok. Man, we're popping off everywhere today. Andy says just best to walk away. Like everything in life. You will never come out looking good when you're trash talking anyone or anything. I also see creators trash talking about their previous employers because of views. Can you imagine all the brands that work and sell in those companies? Yeah. Never got that. Another reason why you shouldn't trash talk brands is that it could actually land you in legal trouble. Did you know that? If you've already signed an agreement with the brand, chances are there was a non-disparagement clause, which prevents you from talking crap about them for a certain time period. So when you run to TikTok after the brand's legal team asks you to do a reshoot because you wore a hat with a Nike logo on it, and then your followers go and like flood the brand's customer support lines saying, how dare you mess with my favorite influencer? This happens. Then the brand may decide to lawyer up. Do you really want to go head to head legally with the deep pockets of a brand? I don't think so. Right? This is true. Go back and look at any contracts that you've signed over the last, year or something, and I virtually guarantee you there is a non-disparagement clause. I don't get it. I don't get why creators, not only that, a lot of creators share how much money certain brands pay them on social media. There is clauses in the contract stating that you cannot disclose that. Now, a lot of times brands will do a kind of cost-benefit analysis of actually going after a creator. Chances are they're not going to sue you, but you better believe they're not going to hire you again. They're going to be like, oh, we just saw this brand, this creator shared that we paid them $1,000 or $500 or whatever it is on social media, and the contract that they signed said that they were not going to share it. Yeah, we're probably not going to sue them because it's not worth the blowback or the bad PR, bad press, but we're just not going to hire them again. I'm going to keep it kind of hush-hush, just going to put them on a little internal list not to hire. That happens. I'm telling you that happens because I've been behind the scenes and I know that it happens for a fact. Right? Gabby says other brands won't want to work with them too. Exactly, Gabby. So it's just not worth the temporary clout or the temporary views that you're going to get from spilling the tea. Okay? Andy says, we all have things we can complain about. It's best to chat to a friend in private to get it off your chest. Never post anything negative online as it's there forever. Andy, you and me are speaking the same language. Okay? Yeah, and Janet says, everyone also talks because they move between agencies and they move around. Exactly, Janet. KMH family says, yes, that's how I even approach life. I'm not going to spend my time being negative or trash talking when we can be putting that energy into something great. Yes, I'm going to highlight this comment because this is everything. That is exactly right. And you know what? My rule of thumb for this type of thing is that you never talk about someone unless they are in the room, the same room as you. Right? Because nothing good can come of that. That is my rule for life in a 9-to-5 job, in a professional setting, whatever it is, unless that person is in the same room as you, you keep their name out of your mouth, unless you're saying something positive about them. Right? That's going to keep you out of a lot of trouble throughout your life. DeCarrie Carter says, gotta play it safe and follow what we've agreed to, right? All right, y'all. So those are just a few tips about kind of trash talking. I like one of the reasons why I started making content for Creator Wizard is that I saw this narrative, this very toxic, what I believe, very toxic and insidious narrative happening on social media, where there's lots of other people on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, and their whole shtick is that brands are evil. Brands are malicious. They're trying to screw us. They're trying to take advantage of creators. And yes, there are definitely brands who do that. But in my vast experience, I've done over 500 sponsorships personally. I ran an agency for many, many years doing this. The vast, vast, vast majority of brands are not like that. They're really excited about doing these partnerships. They want to pay and compensate creators fairly, and they're not out there to screw you. And so I felt that it was important that I inject my own perspective into this space, that doing sponsorships is awesome. Working with brands is awesome. If you approach it objectively and professionally and come to the table thinking that, okay, if something comes up that wasn't expected, I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. Figure out a compromise. Things come up that aren't anticipated. And I know that this is not going to be the only deal that I ever do with this brand or this agency. And so I'm going to figure out whatever I have to do to help make my contact win in this sticky situation. Okay? We got Dwayne has a question here, which is, I did a brand deal with Kingsford through an agency. It is now their most viewed TikTok. How would you go about getting in contact with them directly for more work? So I have a slight mindset shift for you here, Dwayne, which is number one, why are you trying to go around the agency? That's one of the quickest ways to burn bridges with a brand or with that agency is to try to circumvent them. So the first path that I would take is make your appeal, make your pitch for future work through the agency. So I want to split hairs here quickly, which is that there is a difference between an advertising agency that a brand has retained, which is also sometimes called their agency of record or their AOR, and an influencer agency, which is like these platforms like Open Influence or Aspire IQ or Whaler or Hashtag Paid or whatever. Those are all like influencer agencies or influencer platforms, okay? So it's important to know because, yes, I agree. Sometimes it's more difficult to actually get continuous business through an influencer platform. But if it's the brand's advertising agency, right? Like the Ketchums of the world or the Edelmans of the world or the Golans of the world, right? These are all ad agencies or PR agencies. The brand has actually retained them as a bodyguard. They're saying, hey, we want to work with influencers, but we don't have the capacity or the resources or the bandwidth to actually do it internally for our marketing team. You handle it, agency. And so it makes no sense to try to circumvent the agency. So what you want to do is make the agency look like heroes for hiring you. So you go back to them and say, here is a post-campaign report. I know we worked together, 3 months ago, but I pulled together these screenshots of these amazing comments. I know at the end of 30 days, which was when the campaign officially ended, that, the video only had 30,000 views. Guess what? Now it has 400,000, right? You put together this nice little beautiful PDF package, even something simple over email can be fine. And then you hand that on a silver platter to the agency, and then they go and they forward it on to the brand, and they look like heroes. And then guess what? When the next campaign rolls around in 3 months, they're going to hire you again, Dwayne. Dwayne is adding more details here. The agency's pay rate is significantly lower than what the work entails. I did it to build portfolio. Okay, so do you know? So this is another interesting conversation, which is that. So first of all, do you know if it's actually the influencer agency and just a random influencer agency that the brand contracted, or is it their actual PR agency? Because there's a difference there. Because you are totally within your rights to go back to the brand or go back to the agency and summarize all this awesome information that we just discussed, right? To further illustrate why this partnership that they did with you 1 month ago was so awesome, and then use that to justify why they should compensate you more for a future partnership. Like, too many creators will go back to a brand and they'll just be like, oh, like my rate is now double. Like, you got to pay me that. No, like it's your responsibility to articulate to the brand why they should pay you double. And yes, I get it that, my view, maybe your average viewership is more now. And yeah, I mean, I guess, like, for sure. But remember, you have a set of precedent now of how much you charged them before. So if that was a month or two ago, it's going to be hard for them to be like, well, wait, we just paid Justin like $1,000 like a month ago. Why is he saying, oh, my rate's now 5,000, right? You have to justify it to them. And I get that might be frustrating, but I'm just telling you how it works. Okay? Paul in the YouTube chat says, send out my first post-campaign report. Paul, I am so proud of you. Paul and I have done a few one-on-one coaching sessions, and I believe in our last coaching session, we went over the dynamics of how to actually put together a post-campaign report. So, Paul, will you keep me updated with what the brand or the agency's response is when you send out that post-campaign report? Because I'm really excited to see their reaction to that. We had a guest speaker in the last cohort of my course, Brendan Gahan from Mechanism. He's a senior partner at a very large advertising agency, and he one comment he made like really stuck out to me during this guest session, which was that in the thousands of influencer campaigns that he has done over the years, he has only ever received a post-campaign report, like an actual wrap report, PDF, from an influencer once in thousands and thousands of campaigns. And so obviously, this is something I teach in my course. It's like, how do you actually construct these proposals? But you will absolutely blow a brand's mind or an agency's mind if you put together this type of information, because the vast majority of creators just simply won't do that. Okay. So, Lexi Slays in the TikTok chat says, I always do more than the brand asks for, especially if the collaboration was easy. Boom. Yeah. Well, we got Whitworks. We got Stacy's Spaces in the IG chat as well. Life with Asaya. Did I pronounce your name correctly? With Asya? Life with Asya. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, great questions. Oh my gosh. We got Dealcasters in the house saying, shout out to the neon creator wizard sign behind Justin. Look at this, y'all. I didn't even mention this. I got the new sign. I got it. Look at it. The new logo. Hold on. Let me show you the old one. This is what the old one looked like, y'all. Do you remember this one? Ooh, here. That was what the old one looked like. And it lit up, but this was my old logo. And I have a new logo, as you can see. And I decided it was time to upgrade to the newer logo. What do you guys think? It only has one light this time because I wanted like a circle instead of like a large kind of square. What do you think? I'm just like super swagged out today. Look at, I got the Creator Wizard water bottle going on. This merch is dropping in hot soon, guys. Let me know in the chat. Is anyone would anyone be interested? Does anyone actually want Creator Wizard merch? I not only this, I have I have my monetize hats, my mugs. Like it's coming. It's coming in hot, guys. You ready? You really like the blue on the new logo. Well, guess what? I can actually change the color. So I can do red. Oh, wait, is this the right remote? I don't know if this is the right one. Maybe I'm too far. Hold on a second here. Oh, here's the remote. Here it is. Hold on. There we go. See, I can change the colors. Red, yellow. I can do whatever I need to do. I was just trying to find something that contrasted with the purple color over there so it didn't get washed out. I thought maybe yellow. What do we think, guys? Green? There we go. I think the green. But yeah, thank you for noticing my new logo. I appreciate it. PRNC SDOM says, do you have a podcast? I will be relaunching my podcast very soon. It's called Sponsored Post Podcast. And yes, I'm going to be actually in the beginning repurposing a lot of my older live streams. I have so many live streams that I've done where I do Q&As and answer questions and stuff like that. So I'm going to be repurposing a lot of those. And then, yeah, perhaps doing some dedicated pods for that as well. So yes, trying to launch it as soon as possible, but as with anything, it's just like another thing on the list. We got Audria Richmond in the chat. What's going on? I just got that same water bottle. Yes, it's like kind of like the Swell water bottle, but yeah, it's dope. Good to see Audria. Okay, let's see. Lexi says, when will you be shortlisting for your program in September? Is this the gifted to paid program that you're talking about, or the Brand Deal Wizard, which is launching in October? I am man, we're like in the weeds. We are going through it right now, trying to get everything ready for the launch of gifted to paid. I'm so excited about it, guys. If you're on my newsletter, you've probably seen some of the behind the scenes of how, everything that we're doing to kind of pull the course together. This is my very first course that is going to be fully on demand. It's not going to be taught live like my Brand Deal Wizard program, because it's really purely kind of like knowledge transfer stuff, a lot of mindset, confidence related stuff. I have lots of email templates in there too. So it is very, very tactical, very mindset related as well. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited, and big shout out to Dee and Fam in the chat, because those of you guys who know or familiar with Dee, she is my community and programs manager for Creator Wizard, and she has just been doing a tremendous amount of work getting Get to Paid ready behind the scenes. Just so excited for this one to finally launch. It's been a long time coming. This is absolutely my most requested course over the last 18 months. It's just like, how do what happened? I think I lost the stream for a second there. There we go. I think I'm back. But yeah, this has been my absolutely number one requested course of the last 18 months. Just how do I convert all of these free product offers that I'm getting into paid partnerships? How do I do it? Please help me. That is the entire focus of this next course, Gifted to Paid. So really excited about that. And Lexi says, Brand Deal Wizard. Yes. So Brand Deal Wizard, the next cohort is going to be launching in October. So if you just go to branddealwizard.com to join the wait list, then you'll, get all those emails, stay updated with that. And yeah, cohort number 7 is going to be, it's going to be lit, guys, because cohort number 6, I feel like, I don't know, D, you can let me know in the chat what you think, but like cohort number 6, this last one that we did, it was something in the water, something in the air. It was magical. There was just the energy from the creators that participated. We had 58 creators who went through it, and just like the diversity, the types of content verticals, just the different platforms that people are on, the different stages that people are in their creator journey, the guest lectures, the community experts we have in the community. It was just like, I don't know. It was just so magical. The whole thing. It really was special. And so I'm only anticipating that it's going to continue to get even more awesome. Candidly, I may be increasing we may be increasing the investment for future cohorts because it really is important to me to ensure that it can be intimate and that we're able to provide the support and the attention to as many creators as possible. And you can imagine 58 creators, it's a lot of people, right? Like asking questions in the community during office hours, during the live sessions. And so we have been faced with this decision, like, do we need to institute some sort of hard cap where it's like, okay, imagine if 100 creators, like it's possible we could have 100 creators next cohort, like that's double. That's a lot. We don't have, it's just me. It's me and Dee and Russell, my assistant. That's it. There's no one else behind the scenes, like behind the magic, behind the curtain here at Creator Wizard. So it's like, you have to imagine if you want to ensure awesome and amazing outcomes and transformations for students who are investing a significant amount of money into a program like this, I want to make sure that they're getting an amazing experience. So that perhaps might mean that we need to, cap the number of enrollments, increase the investment to be able to, again, support all the infrastructure and investments that we're making in the program. So, So the last cohort was 2,000 for the investment, and there was also an installment plan, but it's possible that we may be increasing it for the next cohort. So TBD on that one. But yeah, favorite finds in the chat. We got favorite finds in the chat who was in cohort 6 said, do not miss out on Brand Deal Wizard. Thank you so much, Logan. Great to see you, man. Audrey was also an alumni. D and Fam says, C6, cohort 6, ignited magic in every creator in the program. So much diversity, so much knowledge shared. The community is even more impactful than it's ever been. The KMH family said, BDW was absolutely amazing. Loved it. Definitely the best course I have ever taken. Beyond helpful. I try to implement everything that I've learned in there in our daily negotiations. Hannity, thank you so much. That means so much to me. You know what I'm going to do? Whenever I get amazing, testimonials like this, I always have to screenshot it. I'm screenshotting this right now because that's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. What other questions do you have, y'all? Let me know. Hold on. What is happening here? Oh, there we go. Okay. What other questions do you have? I'm on a bunch of different platforms trying to figure out where I'm talking here. We got Whitwork saying, yeah, awesome feedbacks. Awesome feedback. Looking forward to both. Yeah, man, absolutely. Dan Norton says, good to know. I always have creators asking me about how to get more income and sending them to you. Dan, well, let's set you up with an affiliate link, my man, because all my affiliates, typically my affiliates are my alumni, right? You become an automatic Brand Deal Wizard affiliate whenever you graduate from the program. But yeah, man, if you want to become an affiliate, hit me up. I do have a few affiliates who haven't taken the course yet, but are affiliates. So yeah, hit me up, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's talk about your questions here, y'all. Real quickly before we dive into that, Whitwork says, is there an overlap of content in Gifted to Paid and Brand Deal Wizard? So no, there is not. They're completely different materials. So Gifted to Paid is literally all about how to convert gifted partnerships to paid partnerships, okay? So it's all about understanding how to pivot, how to illustrate value to brands who are reaching out saying, oh, we'll give you free products, or we'll give you a gift card, or join our affiliate program, or be an ambassador for us, right? There's all these like different versions of we're not going to pay you, right? And so that is the only thing that I talk about in Gifted to Paid. Brand Deal Wizard is so real quickly, what that means though is that we do not talk about pricing or pitching in Gifted to Paid. Okay. Because that's a lot of times that's what creators want. They're like, oh, I want to understand how to like reach out to brands cold and like, how do I actually set my pricing? I very intentionally we do not cover that in Gifted to Paid because there is so much more foundational knowledge that you need to have around understanding your worth, understanding your value, understanding how to communicate to brands your value, and just the mindset piece. But also there's so many tactical templates. I think we have, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have 15 templates, 15 different email templates about things to say based on, if a brand, takes your content, reposts it, right? And like, they have to pay you for that. They can't do that, right? And so like, what do you actually say to them? And not, how dare you? Like, I'm going to get my lawyer. It's like, no, you can say something very tactfully to turn this into a paid partnership where you even could potentially pitch more content, new content, not just reposting something where you tag the brand. So again, that's like the major difference is that Brand Deal Wizard is your nuts to bolts sponsorship strategy where, typically you have had some experience working with paid collaborations, and Gifted to Paid is to help the kind of aspiring and beginner creator who is getting a bunch of free product offers, gifted offers. How do you convert those into paid partnerships? That is the focus of that program. Hopefully that helps. Dean Fam says, one is more mindset based to convert free to actually paid, and BDW is more of a framework from start to finish to landing sponsorships you deserve. Yes, exactly. And by the way, I am going to have an absolutely obscene guarantee in Gifted to Paid, which is that if you don't get your first paid deal within 60 days, send me an email, I'll give you your money back if you really don't think that it was helpful. So like, you literally have nothing to lose. Like, I am that confident in that program. I also have that guarantee for Brand Deal Wizard, by the way. Like, I literally don't want to keep your money. If you don't think it was useful, I'll give it back to you. We've had 2 refunds in the history of Brand Deal Wizard over the, hundreds of people that have actually taken the program. And both of them were just, they weren't for those reasons. It was more like one creator decided to double down on they were a small business that also had grown a social following. And they decided that they didn't want to go the influencer route. They wanted to double down on their small business, like growing their business. And so I gave them the refund. They emailed me, I gave it a refund in 10 minutes, right? Like, I'm not interested in keeping your money if you didn't think it was valuable, right? So you literally have nothing to lose. Anyways, enough about that. Question from Bundle523. What does it mean if a brand mentions non-paid capacity of 6 months usage rights? So what this means is that the brand wants to repurpose your content organically for 6 months. They're not going to be putting additional paid dollars behind it. But what this means is that they have the rights to repost it on Instagram or repost it on their YouTube channel or something like that. Like maybe it's like a 1 minute or 2 minute cut down of the video that you made or something like that, or the photo that you made. And they can repost that for up to 6 months. So that's what non-paid capacity means. And that's pretty typical. Like, usually when we do a partnership with a brand and we're creating content for them, we're not charging them additional money to be able to like repurpose it. We're getting into the weeds here because there's different pricing investment levels based on the campaign goal type. So that if you know that reposting your content is a major goal for the campaign, then that's a different price tier and a different investment tier for your base pricing. But you're typically only charging an incremental amount if the brand wants to repurpose it with paid advertising or boosting or whitelisting or whatever for 6 months or whatever the duration is. Cecilia says, niching down on TikTok says, niching down is a hot topic in the UGC community because I like a lot of things. Thoughts? And real quickly, a response to that says, Cecilia, I do not niche down for UGC. I will create any type of content as long as it's appropriate. So, yeah, so my perspective on niching down is that if you are going the influencer route, not the UGC route, is that it's so much better to be a bigger fish in a smaller pool. Because when a brand decides that they want to look for a creator to hire for a paid campaign, which would you rather be? Would you like to be one of the 10,000 nameless lifestyle influencers or fashion influencers, or the one influencer who talks about gluten-free recipes? Right? Not one, but you get the idea, right? Because then every gluten-free brand is going to want to partner with you instead of just being random food blogger X, right? So I could go through lots and lots of examples of why niching down is so important if you're wanting to build your own business. It is a little bit of a different thing when you're a UGC creator because, you know, what you're relying on is your expertise creating compelling content. And the reason that a brand is hiring you is not to like leverage your organic distribution on your platform. It's more to create compelling content that they can repurpose on their platforms or for paid ads, right? So I don't really have a strong feeling one way or the other if like you're not trying to grow your own presence and you're just kind of a gun for hire. So I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. There is something to be said though, like maybe you are the go-to UGC creator for SaaS software or something, right? So it's not consumer brands now. It's like maybe like, you know, if you're a B2B SaaS, you know, like Front or, you know, there's thousands of SaaS, you know, tools out there. You're the go-to person for SaaS software. Like I think that would be smart. So rather than being one of the hundreds of UGC creators who will talk about any consumer brand, no, you like focus on whatever, hospitality. You focus on B2B software tools. You focus on whatever, right? So I do think it is smart. Like if you want to stand out, even with UGC, I do think there is something to that. Okay. Pamela says he's not reading comments and I have no idea what UGC is. I am reading comments, Pamela. I'm sorry. I just have a zillion comments in a bunch of different areas. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. Sorry. UGC is user-generated content. Apologies. Brandon from Tech Audit TV says, is it me or is the UGC creator a new thing? 2 months ago, I've never heard the term. Yeah, you know, it's pretty funny to me because UGC has been around for 15 years. It's not like a particularly new thing. I think it's just that some people have slapped a fresh coat of paint on on this term, like, you know, like creating content for brands. For them to use exclusively and not post on your platforms has been something that we've been doing for a decade. I think it's more just about, there's a lot of, it's a very exciting thing for a lot of people because you don't need to have any followers to be able to be you can be a talented person on camera, know how to tell a compelling story, know how to give a good, craft a great pitch or a great hook. And you can do really well as a UGC creator. And so I think it's just more of like a branding thing than anything. But there's it's a growing community, and I think it is interesting. Man, I got like a very nice comment from Wit here in the chat. Unrelated. As a sound, video, and sound and lighting tech snob, your setup is beautiful. I love the soft key lighting. Camera angle and quality. The SM7B is not in your face. Use of color, background color, design. Well done. Whit, thank you, man. I appreciate you, Drew. Sometimes I look at my setup and I look at other people's setups and I get FOMO and I'm like, man, their setup looks so much cooler than mine. Sometimes I think that my softbox on my my direct light is not bright enough. What do you think? Do you think it's bright enough? Like I've played with like going a lot brighter. Like I'm turning this, you'll be able to see like, whoa, I'm going up way bright now. Do you think I need to be a lot more bright or not? Because I don't know. Sometimes I see other people's setups and I'm like, man, they look so much brighter. But I don't know. That always felt a little weird to me. I wanted to vibe like I'm in like a nighttime juice bar or something. And I just like have some lo-fi beats playing in the background. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me do some sound effects. Like, I think this is the applause one. Did you guys hear that one? Was that the hooray? I can't remember. I don't have my headphones in, so I don't know which one it is. But thank you. I appreciate that very much. Oh, Whit says, I don't like overexposed. It's amateur. All right. Well, I'm not an amateur, I guess. So I appreciate that. And he says, I think you look fine. Ramon, glad to be here. Thanks for tuning in, man. I thought it was white labeling when you create for brands. So Joran, to clarify here, so the difference between white listing or white labeling, usually called white listing, and boosting, is this is when you either post the content on your page and then you grant the brands back-end access to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever, or you give the brands the Spark Ads code, and then they boost the content that you would natively post it on your page. That's whitelisting. There's also a form of whitelisting called dark posting, where you don't even post the content natively on your page, but you do give the brand the access to the back end of your profile. And so when they run the ad, it looks as though it's appearing from as if it was posted on your platform. But if you navigate to your profile, you actually can't see the posts like on your feed. So that's dark posts. And so there is, when you're a UGC creator, when you're creating content exclusively for brands, there is a scenario where sometimes you don't even post the content at all. You just provide the brand the raw video and they post it on their brand handle and they run paid advertising with it on the brand handle and they don't even touch your profile, your page. So that's kind of the difference. Brandon says, it seems most UGC creators are selling perpetual use on their videos. A quick $500 and the brand owns them for life. I've pitched some UGC products, but when I suggest licensing, it's a quick reject. Yeah, I mean, it is a tough sell because at that point, when you are trying to create, you're pitching UGC content and you're creating it, it's work for hire. For the brand to want to own the content forever, it is not unreasonable for them to do that, because at that point, it's just like them going out and hiring a production company, hiring an actress to star in the content. It's standard for them to own it. So I think UGC's creators should just realize that this is something that I always will encourage you to try to suggest licensing it for a finite term. Because what happens if you are a UGC creator, let's say you get your start doing that, and then you are making content for, 100 different brands or whatever, and then you grow your own presence, you grow your own platform a year down the line, and you actually start working with brands in earnest to talk about them on your platforms. And then all those other brands that you worked with, that you gave your name and likeness to perpetually, they could be running ads and start tagging you because now you have a presence. And then you want to start working with perhaps some competitors of those brands. And it's just like this really weird situation. Right. So you really got to be careful, I think. It reminds me of Simu Liu from Shang-Chi. He famously did, when he was in his early days as an actor, did some like photo shoots where he was like a stock photo guy. I feel like I want to hold on. Let me find this, because this is funny to me. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Why is this so funny to me? Let me show you. Those of you who are on IG or on TikTok are not going to be able to see this, but like, look at this. Simu Liu, you guys know Simu Liu. Like before he was like a big actor, he was doing stock photo shoots. And it's just like this giant joke because like, he was doing the like workout photos and stuff like that. But like, this is what can happen. Anyways, I thought that was pretty funny. And I love how good of a sport he was about the whole thing. But we got Soul Detox Retreats in the IG chat. We got Andy Slinger UK. What's going on, Andy? Andy in the YouTube chat says, if you sell a video for perpetual use, will this allow the company to demand you take the video down from your own YouTube channel? I'm presuming it does, as they now own the content. Yeah, I mean, if they own the content and you do not, and you post it on your YouTube channel, then they are within their rights to do a takedown, a DMCA takedown, if you won't take it down yourself, because they own it. So something to think about. Let's see. We got Irina. I believe that's how you pronounce your name, Irina Fedchenko. Have you helped Spanish-speaking creators work with USA brands? So I'll be totally candid. It's really difficult. Even if you're a creator who lives in another country but has a significant following in the US, let's say, it's really difficult to convince a US-based brand like, hey, you should work with me because I have a big US-based audience. Most of the time, they want both the creator to be based in the geography that they're, selling their products, and for the audience, the majority of the audience, to be in that geography as well. So it's not impossible. I definitely have heard of, creators in different countries being able to get deals, let's say in the UK or the US or something like that, even if they're not based there, but it's hard. I'm just being totally real. It's difficult. What other questions you got? We got about 10 minutes left, and would love to answer your questions. Brandon says, I think the appeal of UGC content is it's a fast way to revenue without a large audience. But unless you become the next OxyClean pitchman, it's going to be hard to grow your personal brand. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what it is. It's a shortcut to revenue. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a judgment-free zone. I'm not judging anyone who does UGC. It definitely can be a quick way to generate revenue and get experience under your belt. But I do think that you just have to know what you're getting yourself into if you decide to go down that route. Roxanne Ramsey said, what about people stealing your content and using it as ads? So 100%, this is something that, so mindset shift for you here, Roxanne, which is that your first go-to, so let me back up here. If a brand steals your content and starts running ads with it, what you should not do is reach out to them and be like, how dare you take this down immediately? You have to pay me money for that, right? It's all about how you approach them. What you should be saying instead is, I'm so honored that you liked my content so much that you wanted to run it as ads. That actually requires an investment. Can you let me know how much budget you've set aside to secure those rights? I'd also love to discuss some other ideas of new content that I can create for you. Are you free at Thursday at 1 p.m. to talk about it? That's what you say. Not, you better take this down right now. Right? Okay? So it's about a mindset shift and understanding that, yes, you are within your rights. Yes, obviously, if they don't respond, through multiple attempts, then you can submit a DMCA takedown. My wife and I have done that before numerous times if they don't respond. But the first thing that you should do is understand, hey, assume that the brand didn't know that you wouldn't be cool with it, because let's face it, some creators are cool with it. They're like, oh my gosh, this brand's running ads with my content. That's awesome. I feel so awesome, right? But no, you're a professional creator. You know that's something they should be compensating you for. And so it's all about how you approach it. Okay? Brenda Lynn says, hey, y'all, I just wanted to pop in real quick to say hello. I'm at work. I'll have to watch the live later. So far, what I'm listening to seems interesting, though. Thanks, Brenda Lynn. Great to see you. Shelly, what's going on, Shelly? Thanks for tuning in, man. D says, trash-talking brands publicly will likely have some downfalls attached. Something I've learned and taken with me from Creator Wizard Knowledge is creator etiquette is full circle. Elise says, I'm still in IG chat. I'm still trying to learn how to grow my small business and would like to learn how to work with brands. However, I'm afraid to reach out. I'm not sure where to start. So I think the most important decision that you need to make, Elise, is do you want to go double down on being a small business or being a creator? I think there's a lot of small businesses that have gotten into this pickle on TikTok, especially because, as you know, the kind of whole behind the scenes rooting for the underdog small business, that type of content performs really well on TikTok. People will be like, oh, this is my behind the scenes of my small candle making business. And they show the process and like, I'm building it out of my college dorm and I'm trying to do this. And you've seen these videos, right? And so it's like they blow up and they get hundreds of thousands of followers. And then it's like they start getting other brands reaching out and being like, hey, talk about us on your page. And it's tempting because it's like sometimes it's even more money than you're making in your small business, right? So it's like, do I double down on like doing the small business that I was able to grow my following from, or do I maybe become an influencer and start creating content around lifestyle stuff or beauty or skincare or whatever, right? And so that's my most earnest advice is picking a lane, I believe, is pretty important because it's going to dictate the types of content that you create and the types of brands that you'd ultimately want to partner with, right? Emma Cruises in the chat says, I recently took the Brand Deal Wizard course, and it was fabulous. I am sending a pitch as I'm watching this. I finally feel like I know my worth. Emma, thank you. That means so much to me. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to hear that. It means a lot. Brandon says, I got a big brand that owes me money and is ghosting me. At what point can I shame them publicly? Man, that's a tough one. That if I were you, that is the very, very last resort, in my opinion, Brandon. Because yes, I realize I've heard people being like, the brand was like ignoring me. And then when I finally threatened to post on social media or I posted on Twitter or TikTok, they finally paid me within 24 hours. Yes, I get that that's an effective tactic. That would be my ultimate last resort, though, because that is like going nuclear and guaranteeing that you're going to burn that bridge. And again, it goes back to other brands seeing that and thinking, I'm not going to partner with that creator because if something ultimately goes wrong in the partnership, then they're going to like turn to TikTok. They don't know the context. That's the problem, is that, for all they know, they could watch the video and like, their payment could be overdue by like 3 days. And you're like, how dare the brand? I got bills to pay. Right. But they don't know that. They don't know that, Brandon, that you've been ghosted for 7 months or something, which sucks. I get it. But I definitely would use that as a last resort. Right. All right. There was a question in the TikTok chat that I wanted to answer. Where was it? Here. Ramon says, if you have high engagement in your personal social media, can that help increase UGC rates? That's a great question. So, let's talk about UGC. So again, UGC is user generated content. Okay. And if the thrust of your pitch or the thrust of your proposal is, I am going to create content for you to use on your social platforms, the only real thing that a high engagement rate on your personal pages will illustrate to them is that you know how to create compelling content, which is not nothing. It's a good thing, right? You can illustrate to them, hey, like I know how to make a compelling pitch or a compelling hook. I know how to create a compelling story about your brand or your product or your service or whatever, because look at my personal brand. I do it for my own self. Even if you don't have thousands of followers, you can say, hey, my engagement rate is like really high, even though I have 500 followers or 1,000 followers or whatever. So like that is what I would use. That's what I would lean on if you do have a high engagement rate on your personal brand. And so that can be valuable, but just understand that like the main reason that most brands will want to hire you for UGC content is to use it in other ways that have nothing to do with your own platforms, right? Let's see. Oh, Paul says, have a great weekend, Justin. Thanks for the content. Yeah, y'all, I don't even know how this happened, but the live stream, like, we're at an hour. I don't know how this happened. It always flies by, but hope you found value. I think this was the most amount of people that I ever had tuning in on a live stream across all my platforms. I think I don't even know how many people we had across all the different platforms, but thank you so much for each and every one of you for tuning in. We'll see you back next week, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you on the flip side.